Hello, 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 and welcome back to Imperfectly Perfect. Narcoleptic, right? 19 to 25. Ooh, exciting years, right? Brand new mom, went to school to become a nurse. Now, nursing school was hectic, I'm not gonna lie. At many points in it, I thought I wasn't going to make it through. Again, I would wake up in the middle of the night to do a lot of my schoolwork to try to catch up. The retaining a lot of the information was very, very difficult. At that point, I was still undiagnosed. Um, and I did have a suicidal attempt when I think I was either 19 or 20, where the pressure, the again, the not knowing, the feelings, the everything, the anxiety, everything that comes with narcolepsy just became too much. And again, I was still undiagnosed. I was seeing a psychiatrist. I was on medication. I was going to therapy. I think it was like once a week or something like that, to see a psychologist, therapist, whatever she was, just to talk about, like, and again, a lot of the things were being brought back to being a young mom, being in school, working, and etc. But there was always something that fell off. I was married by that point. Unfortunately, the going undiagnosed did cause a lot of issues within my marriage. We got divorced pretty young. We didn't stay married that long, excuse me. We are in a better place now when it comes to raising our children, right? The co-parenting and things like that. But there was definitely a very difficult time where I was dealing with something that I was unaware of, right? A diagnosis that had not been made. Trying to go to school, trying to be a wife, being a new mom. Then at 22, I got pregnant with our second son. And within a month or two of him being born, I got pregnant with our twins, which were actually triplets, and I lost one in the process. So by 23, I had my second at 23, right after I turned 23, within days. And before the end of the year, in November, I had a set of twin girls. So in 1 year, I went from being a mom of one to being a mom of four, right? My oldest was four. He was five by the time the twins were born. So just the chaotic of life in itself, right? I was losing more sleep, so now I was just not resting, but I was also not sleeping. I was literally living off of like 1 or 2 hours a night, plus napping when the children nap, needing to be up when my eldest got home from school. Now, he went to school half days during kindergarten. So the bus driver was amazing though, in the afternoon, because she would leave him for last and would honk the horn, just to make sure I was up. And all I had to do was open the door and she'll let him off the bus. But it was definitely, not, it was the situation in itself was difficult. Let's put it this way. 23, single mom, four kids, three under the age of one, and trying to manage everything, right? How long before I go back to work, and et cetera, and trying to figure everything out. And I didn't go back to work till the twins were about 2.5, almost 3. So all I and like it frustrates me a little, because there's a lot of things that I don't remember, right? There's a lot of little moments and things like that I see pictures of, and I'm like, I don't remember this, right? Because I was so exhausted, I was so tired, that the retaining, right, the retaining of your memories, right, wasn't there at some times, right? And the repetitive of like the day to day, right? The waking up, feeding the kids, cleaning and cooking and this and that, and it was just like a repetition where I kind of felt like I was out of breath most of the time. And there were moments where I would put the kids down, right, for the night, and I would just break down and cry, because I kind of felt like there was no reason again for me to be depressed, right? There was no reason for me to feel the way that I was feeling. When I was closer to, I want to say I was 24 or so, I was diagnosed with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And again, because that's when I initially started talking about like the nightmares, and they were repetitive nightmares at this point. But that was the first time ever that I had talked about having any issues with my dreams or with my sleep. And my primary doctor actually was the one that diagnosed me. She treated me, and the treatment worked for, I want to say, a couple of months, and then it started. It came back with a vengeance. It came back worse. And she kept on upping the meds and kept on, we tried different things, and there was just nothing that was working. So at 25, it really, really got hard for me. At that point, I was working during days. I switched to days, and I remember going into work, and I was just like exhausted. Like, I would walk into work and be like, oh, like, you look tired. I'm like, I'm exhausted. Like, I never once told anybody that I ever felt sleepy, because I never really put the two and two, right? I was just always exhausted from, being up almost the entire night, then having to get 4 kids ready, getting to work, coming home, cooking and cleaning. And like, it was all of this, and it was one person, right? My parents helped as much as they could. My sister helped as much as they could. But, there were times where I would pull away, I would pull back, because I would see, it was putting a strain, let's put it this way, on my sister's relationship, right, with her fiance. It was putting a strain on my parents' relationships, because, again, I demanded so much help, right, because I was always exhausted. That was always my thing. I was always exhausted. And for a very long time, I would feel guilty when the kids would go with my ex, right, on the weekends, because I would feel this relief, like, when they were gone, because I was so tired, and all I wanted was to sleep. All I wanted was to rest. And I remember, I decided to go back to school because I wanted to pursue law. And there was a point where I had to stop, right? I had to stop because I had so much on my plate already that taking any more was too risky. There was a time where I went to cooking school for about a year, and I got certified, and I was doing that on the weekends to make ends meet, right? Again, 4 kids, etc. So I would do catering work. There was a time where I did pure romance as well on the weekends, again, to kind of compensate for one income. But it's like the more I did, the more exhausted I was, right? And it was just kind of like this never ending cycle where I was literally like killing myself a little bit each day, because I never gave my body enough time to rest, right? When I went back to work, when the girls were about 2.5, I started working overnights. I started with part-time. I was working, I think it was like 3 nights a week. And as a nurse, 3 nights a week is decent money, right? But again, I needed more money. I needed more income. The kids were growing, the kids were everything. So then eventually I started working full times, 5 days a week, sometimes 4. There was a period of time where I was working 12-hour shifts on the weekends, every other weekend. There was a time where I went, like 17 days straight without taking one night off, working straight because we were short and I wanted to help out, whatever. I went a year and a half without taking any vacation, any sick days or anything like that. Like, I was at work, whether I was sick or I wasn't feeling good, whatever it was, I was like, I'm going to work, and I pushed my body to its limit. And when that caught up to me when I was about 25, again, the living 25 years without proper rest, plus everything else piled onto it, it came in with a vengeance. And the stress headache really started to pick up. And that was a rough time period, just because my temper was very, very, very short. I remember lashing on the kids a lot because, again, I had this headache that just wouldn't leave. I was constantly in pain, head-wise, and I had to deal, again, like, I couldn't just stop and not be a mom, right? I couldn't just stop and not go to work. I couldn't just stop and rest, right? Because the different dynamics of my life, the different roles that I played, pulled me in so many directions, and that in itself was challenging, right? Not to say with everything else that I was dealing with, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I was obsessed at that point, let's put it this way, with my ex-husband, where I wanted him to help. I wanted him to be a part of our lives, more than what he was able and capable of doing at the time. So when you add all of those stress of the day to day, right, to an undiagnosed condition, and you're not treating it, you're not even aware that it's happening, you're not aware, your body in itself starts to break down, right? So I started having issues that I never had before, right? And we'll talk about that. A lot of I want to make a video about a lot of the things that people are unaware that narcolepsy actually affects, like your blood pressure, your heart rate, everything. And from there on, at 25 was really when I started harassing my primary doctor, telling her that something was wrong, we checked my thyroid. I mean, we did so many tests for my thyroids. We did so many different testing, and everything was coming back normal, right? You saw me on paper, and I should have been this extreme fit person, this slim looking person, and here I was, I got almost 200 pounds. Again, I wasn't resting. And it was just kind of like, just trying to figure out. So it was kind of like a process of elimination to get to my diagnosis. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into the 26 to 29, not 26 to 29, 26 till now, on the next video. But that is all that I wanted to bring over for you guys for today. I hope that you guys were able to understand what I was saying, what I was sharing. As always, guys, thank you for all the love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Sending every single one of you love. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.